These are the top 10 biggest and most interesting new features revealed during the 4 Alpha 21 developer livestreams. Infested Clear is an all-new quest type that increases the challenge of the existing clear quests by doubling the zombie spawn count and increasing the game stage depending on the biome it takes place in. These new quests also come with new loot pools and a specialised loot container called the Infested Cache. Like the existing clear quests, Infested Clears will be available at Trader Outposts as usual, and will buff up the roster of available mission types, giving players more variety in the contracts they can collect. The water system is also seeing a rework, banishing empty water jars for water collection and replacing them with a new workstation called the Dew Collector. Instead of filling empty glass jars at water sources, the Dew Collector will produce 3 murky water per in-game day, which can still be used in crafting and at campfires to produce boiled water. Players will also be able to scoop up murky water with their hands from water sources and drink it directly from these sources with new headgear water filtration mods. There'll be 14 new Tier 5 points of interest. 5 will be updated existing POIs and 9 will be completely new. So far, we've only seen a few, including the Navezgane Correctional Facility, the Skyscraper Apartment Complex Vanity Tower, the Last Sunset Nursing Home, and the existing Red Mesa POI. These will come as part of a drop of 75 new points of interest in Alpha 21. Vehicle damage has been revamped to be less forgiving, and vehicle repair is now linked to the mechanics skill. The skill level will determine how effective repair kits are in fixing up damaged vehicles, and the damage sustained from running over enemies and collisions have been increased. There's also new animations and particle effects for each of the vehicles that displays visually its level of damage, from sparking bike chains to smoking engines and flaming hoods. Alpha 21 will be bringing with it new dismemberment mechanics that directly correspond to the weapons being used. There will now be new textures and animations for both blunt and bladed melee weapons, resulting in different damage indicators from crushed skulls to clean cuts. Limbs and head textures have been updated on some models to incorporate this new system, adding in jiggle physics to affected areas, as well as some models having pieces of clothing like hard hats come away independent of the models themselves. Forge and Workbench textures are being completely revamped, including new models as well as animated lighting for when they're actively crafting. These models will be dynamic, changing their appearance when components like the bellows, crucible and anvil are slotted in their inventory. The Forge will display a lit furnace when crafting, and the Workbench will show a lamp being lit when it's doing the same. The Learn by Looting system is being replaced by a new Learn by Reading mechanic. Magazines will now determine the skill in individual specialities. Each discipline in the game will have between 50 and 100 skill levels to work through, which are increased by reading the relevant magazines. Your current level in each discipline will also affect what material tier you can craft weapons and tools out of, as well as the level of the crafted item themselves. Your loot pool will also be affected by your skill, with higher skills producing more relevant loot and magazines while scavenging. So if you specialise in shotguns, you'll find more shotgun related magazines, ammo and crafting components compared to lower leveled skills. All of the trader outposts are getting remodels to incorporate their unique professions and personalities into the environment. From higher resolution textures, new structures, and an increase in the amount of decorative props, the trader outposts will now feel more lived in and bespoke to each character. Trader Jen has moved into a country town styled church complete with herb production facilities, hospital beds, an ambulance, and field hospital tents. Trader Rect's outpost is revamped to take on the look of a feed store incorporating tractors, seed bags, longhorn skulls, and an assortment of farming equipment. Trader Bob has his own mechanic workshop and store, decorated with hubcaps, scrap parts, mechanical equipment, and the models for all of the in-game vehicles on display for players to get a glimpse at what's unlockable further into the game. Zombies will be able to feed on downed wildlife, with new animations for tracking and crouching down to eat up on any wildlife laying on the ground. This will add a new element to hunting and stalking animals in the game, with the ability for zombies to crowd and even deplete the resources from the animals you've been hunting. There's a chance zombies can be distracted from the player by these downed animals, and it was stated this mechanic would also be applicable to bandits on the ground later down the line. Random generation is seeing some customization options added in the game. Players will now be able to alter the spawn rate of prefabs and points of interest by their specific names or general tags to influence how often they appear while generating new worlds. This will give a deeper level of customization to random map generation from within the game's menu themselves, instead of editing game files to tweak generation options to your preference. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out some of the others on screen now?